evening for day 14 from logic to living. Yeah, I actually wanted to come on live here earlier, but then wasn't in the right energy and then decided to just do it a little bit later. Yeah, today is all about how to let go without losing everything. Because when people hear letting go, then they think if they let go, everything will fall apart. But is that really true? Or is that just something that we've been made to believe? And because everyone around us believes in it and everyone acts like this is true, we have no, or it's very hard to dismantle this belief. Yeah, and I'm actually working with a mentor right now, and in this mentorship space, we talk a lot about freedom, and it's a lot about how to live on this frequency of freedom, how to create a life that is maximally free. And what does that mean? Because the majority of people, they live in a very opposite paradigm. Yeah, everything is about controlling outcomes, pushing when needed, following a very tight schedule and routine, doing things that they don't even want to do, but they just do it because they think they have to do it, or doing it because everyone else does it, or doing it because they think that is the only way to get to a certain outcome. But the reason why we think this is because we just don't have other role models. We don't really see people who live a different way. We don't see people who, follow their heart, create a life of freedom, and make huge amount of money doing it. Or if we do, I mean, because if we wanted to, we could find these people. And for me, a big part of my personal growth is having role models, looking at people who are evidence, who show me that it's possible to live a life that I desire, right? So what I like to do, and I mean, this is really in these times where we have the, you know, depth of the internet, it is really so easy to do, to find someone who models and lives exactly the life you want to live, who has, gone through the transformation that you want to go through. And then I put myself into spaces where people live the kind of life I want to live, where they create the kind of life I want to create, and they create it in a way I want to create it. Because as I said before, I don't want to, hustle my way to success. I don't want to, build from pressure, build from deadlines, build from overextending myself and convincing and pushing, because this is exactly what's exhausting us, right? And for me, it's not only about the outcome, it is also about the process, as I shared before, because this is in the end what is our life, right? What is our life about? If we're doing something we don't enjoy, if we're doing something in a way that we don't enjoy it, in the end our life is not enjoyable. So I put myself into spaces where people build in a way where they have joy and pleasure. And this doesn't mean it's always easy. Of course, you will have challenges, and you will experience pain and you will experience disappointment. But at least overall, the process and the life you're living is something you love. And this is also something I talked about earlier, is happiness is not, or fulfillment. We always think that there can only be one emotion at a time. which is actually not true, right? Usually there is a mix of emotions, and that is totally fine, right? And if you're feeling fulfilled and sometimes still experience challenges or pain, it doesn't mean your life is not fulfilling, and it doesn't mean it's just easy and light, but it gets to be easy and light in many ways. And a big aspect of it is easy and lightness. And actually, this was interesting because someone reached out to me on my LinkedIn today, and um, he's been following my transition from AI into building this business and helping women reconnect to their inner wisdom and build a life that feels true, not looks right. And he also asked me, how is content creation going for you? Because his partner is building out a Instagram page on the side. And I said, actually, it's going good for me. Because he said, okay, it's actually also quite some work until you get the video out. And I'm like, it's going good for me because I give myself permission to let it be easy, to let it be uncomplicated, and to let it be imperfect. And this is really what it is, right? It doesn't mean you don't do the things. It doesn't mean you don't, get certain results. It doesn't mean you don't achieve outcomes. It's just you let it be easier and you're not operating from pressure and push anymore. And also, of course, yeah, you make a bit more room for imperfection. You make room for failure. You make room for testing things. And that is totally okay. Because in the end, also, you learn to be okay with people judging you. Because no matter what, right? Even if you put out the perfect video, if you put out the perfect content strategy, there is gonna be people who don't like it. So perfectionism is usually just something where we try to control and we want to avoid being judged. But you will be judged, whether you try to be perfect or not, or whether you are perfect or not. There's always going to be someone who doesn't like it. So I'm totally fine with people judging me, and I let it be easy. I just show up in who I am, I show up in my truth, and I show up authentic. And I think this is what counts, that we finally show up as our true selves, because we are taught to play and pretend and wear roles and masks everywhere. But what we really want is true and real connection. And we want to be seen for who we really are. Okay, now let me come back to why things don't fall if you stop controlling and if you let go, if you soften. So, first of all, because success doesn't need to be hard. And there is a certain belief code that you get to release, but again, it doesn't mean that you don't show up. It just means you show up with a different energy, with a different context, and you let go of the control of the outcome. But that means you're still doing the things you got to do. But what you're letting go of is the patterns that are exhausting you, right? The overthinking, the over planning, the constant control, the constant pressure. Like, for example, simple example. When I have things on my to-do list and I don't finish them, I don't beat myself up about it, right? It just happens that sometimes you think things are faster than or things go faster than you think, and then in the end you take more time for it. That happens. I don't beat myself up. I don't stay sitting there even though I'm feeling tired. I feel like a break just because I want to get this to do off my list. But it still gets done. I mean, I just do it the next day. And is it really such a big deal if you know postpone it for a day? This is one small example, right? You don't force and push. You just are okay if things take a little bit longer sometimes. Or yeah, I don't neglect my well-being anymore. So I had an osteopath session today. It during the day took me like an hour and a half with going there, coming back. Yeah, a few years ago I probably would not have taken the time to do that. I would have gone into full pushing, forcing mode, full focus, just one thing. And I would have told myself I don't have time for this. And at the same time, I also make sure that I don't have too many distractions, too many things in one week, or also just put one a day so that I also can get things done. But it's in a much more flow and balanced way. And that also makes me more productive. Okay. So that was it for today. I will also come back to this self care piece another time because I think that is an important piece of the puzzle. I really don't think that building in hustle energy is the right way to go. You will just burn yourself out, you will get frustrated, you will eventually put the things down and say, oh, it's not worth it, or you maybe achieve the thing and then you feel resentment because you sacrifice so much of, you know, other things. And also for me, obviously, I'm not in the game of, you know, building something and getting a fast exit. Like, you know, some people, if you build another kind of business, that might be the case. Yeah. For me, the goal is to build something that's sustainable, that I love, that fulfills me, that creates a positive impact in the world, that helps my clients, that just brings so much fulfillment and joy and better lives to the people that I work with that I just don't want to stop and I want to keep doing this. And this doesn't mean it's not going to change. It doesn't mean it's not going to evolve. It will evolve and grow with me. Of course, I will change it here and there, but the goal is not to exit in 5 years and then just do nothing. And I think actually this is also the key. I'm not a fan of this, you know, we retire one day and then don't do anything. I think the healthiest way of living is creating an impact that you're passionate about, that you love, that fulfills you, where you bring your gift to this world and then you grow and evolve until the day you die, more or less. Yeah. Because that keeps you healthy, that keeps you engaged with life, that, you know, serves yourself and your community. And I think that is the best way to live. And with that, I'm wishing you a wonderful evening, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow.